How does one cultivate unconditional love?
In Leviticus, there is a sentence that after the Talmud Yerushalmi comment, the sentence is "Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha." In English is love thy neighbor as thyself. Terrible translation, yeah, but it's the translation of. This is the problem with almost all the Holy Scriptures all over the world, that is very difficult to translate properly. The Upanishads, the Gita, Mahabharata, Ramayana, etc. If you don't know Sanskrit, you approach a very mediocre translation, and the same happens with books like the Quran, Dhammapada, and obviously with the Bible. The translations in Spanish are terrible. In English, same thing. But what can be done? So difficult, almost impossible to translate a poem of Pablo Neruda in such a way that you can really approach the mood, the real meaning. But anyway, is what we have. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Means to love everybody and everything as you love yourself. But there is a big, small detail. Big, small detail. And I will try to explain. In the Hebrew, you say, Ve'ahavta le-reacha kamocha. Instead to say, Ve'ahavta et reacha or et reacha or le. This le is like into. Le. It's weird. Because the exactly translation should be love into thy neighbor, no, into the neighbor as thyself. But so who translate understand that is to love others as you love yourself, and stop there. Didn't pay attention to this le. But the original Hebrew, that is the only way really to know Torah, Bible, is to know the original language. So you can have these small details. In the original Hebrew, was not only love thy neighbor as their self, was love into the other, deep into it. What that means? Why? Every one of us, every human being, is a conditioning. And I don't say is conditioned, but I say is a conditioning. What you are is a huge accumulation of conditioning that you acquire from the family, friends, country, TV, radio, culture, situations, so many films that you come in contact create slowly this conditioning. Is the story of your life. You are this conditioning, you are a story. And according to that, you create certain personality, certain character, and sometimes very complicated character. To love trees is easy. Trees never disturb you. To love a cat, to love a dog, it is easy. You feel secure. They don't criticize you. And if they criticize you between them, you don't understand. You think now, huh? Maybe. Alfonso, if he criticizes, he don't have with whom. Think to himself, maybe. So it's easy. They never betray you. Dogs never beat a hen that give them food. But when we arrive to deal with human beings, we found more complicated, complex systems, conditioning, that sometimes is almost impossible to understand, because you need to understand that it's a meeting between human beings are meetings between different stories, different parents, different situations, different disappointments that create different concepts, conclusions, total different perspectives to the same situation. And sometimes become very difficult or almost impossible to meet two characters And this conditioning is nothing else but thoughts, feelings, emotions. That all of them are memories because the story is past. Memories of situations that leave a big impact in you. Do you understand? So, when people ask how I can even think to love, this conditioning in myself, where I see so many ugly things. And how will be possible one day that I will be able to love somebody else? See, complicated. Waiting any moment to betray his friends, aggressive, violent, rejecting, defend, whatever. Looks almost impossible. People, especially in the New Age, have the particularity to say truths without understanding them. And one of them is, they say, you will be not able to love others unless you don't love yourself. The problem is that not many understand this, the implications of this sentence. Because then you think, oh, to love myself with this conditioning is almost impossible. And only after I will love this thing, I will be able to love. No, this doesn't work. Accept yourself. And you think, how I can accept such a garbage? And as much as you looks more irrational. Is like to ask somebody to love Mount Karananda and Mahananda chanting together in a duo. It's like to somebody ask you to love the food of, okay, doesn't matter. How? So many questions around these implications, but Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha, love thy neighbor into, deep inside the other, suggests that you should look for something else in the other and in yourself. And then the sentence of, first you need to be able to love yourself, the self, and you will be able to love others unconditioned. Because you are not only this conditioning, and more than that, you are not this conditioning at all. The conditioning is your story. Your character and personality are your reactions according and from your story, from your past. But this is what you think, this is what you act, the way you act, your actions, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, but these are not you. There is something else. There is perception of your thoughts, feelings, emotions. Of me sitting here in front of you, there is perception, awareness of the conditioning, of the thoughts. This awareness is a miracle. And this is what you really are. Not what you think, not your reactions, not your conditioning. It's not what you think you are, but what you really are. You're here, and the perception works all the time, is present all the time. You see me, hear my voice. You perceive your legs, your back, your breathing. There is perception. This awareness is incredible. It's moving by itself. You can put now your eyes in one point without moving. And the awareness can be moved to put only attention to the windows without moving the eyes. And the awareness can move and to pay attention only to the periphery. Expand, open the focus. And the same awareness can make focus only in one point. Can move to pay attention to a far distant sound of an airplane. And this awareness, consciousness, can pay attention to your thoughts. It's like a focus on your thoughts, your emotions, your past, your reactions. But the most important thing, consciousness is not dual. It's one without a second. At the moment you recognize awareness, the recognition of perception is the recognition of the place where we are all one. It's exactly the same thing behind every living entity. When you recognize it in yourself, you are able to recognize it behind every single one. Is you. So you can see character even in yourself or in others, conditioning. And of course that can be more or less attractive. But you begin to realize that you and others are not their thoughts, are not their ideas, are not their feelings. You begin to love yourself and others not because what they have, but because of what we are. I repeat, you differentiate between what you have a past, you have thoughts, you have emotions, you have all kind, but it's what you are. And what you are is the same nature that is behind every form and name. Ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha, to love into, beyond this conditioning, as yourself. Unconditionally means without taking in account all this conditioning. You can keep distance from a person because some aspects of his character can be problematic. You can try to be near even. You can try to connect because of this love for the divinity. Hindus, when they say hello, they say namaste and unite two hands in the signal that this diversity or duality in reality is one. And they never offer salutations to you as you perceive yourself, but the salutations are for the divinity that reside lying deep in yourself. Is salutations to the background of life. Is, if you want to develop unconditional love for every living entity, move to the recognition of consciousness. Any effort to realize your real nature is an effort to cultivate unconditional love.